Hello everyone, I'm Mike Feldberger, and it's time for the July 26th Grandview Speedway High Banks happenings. Give you a recap of the racing action down at Grandview for July the 26th. 39 sportsmen were signed into the pit area, 34 small block modifieds, 4 heats and 2 consolations for the sportsmen, 3 heats and 1 consolation for the modified. And here's how things went for July the 26th down at Grandview, located right off of Route 100 in Bechtelsville, Pennsylvania. Taking the 4 heat wins in the sportsmen were Shannon Slaughter in the 53S, Parker Goulden in the 11, Tom Miller Sr. in the 77, and Addison Meitzler in the 712. 2 consolations were run, Ryan Graver winning the first one in the 101, and Dylan Swinehart, your second consolation winner for the sportsman in the 38S. Small block modifieds, 3 heats. They were won by Bobby Trapper Jr. in the 2, Ron Herring Jr. in the 85, John Willman taking the third modified heat win in the 74W, with Craig Mondorn in the 30, your consolation winner. Plenty of racing action on the Speedway. Also, the vintage cars were there last night. And there was a 15-lap feature. They combined both their modified and sportsman classes. And taking the wins in each class was Gage Phillips and Sven Olsen, running the Dave Dissinger prepared race cars. So they were the 15-lap winners for the vintage cars at Grandview last night. Some fantastic racing, a couple slowdowns during the portions of both features. They kept the show moving with the threatening weather in the area. And here's how things shaped up for the A-mains, the 25 lap for the sportsmen and the 30 lap for the modifieds. Sportsman Shannon Slaughter taking the lead off the green in turn number 4, the 53S out in front in lap 1. And needless to say, she was never to be denied. A couple challenges along the way from Brett Grimm and Addison Meitzler, but taking the win in the 53S, Shannon Slaughter. She was the first female to win a weekly event in the big cars at Grandview. So congratulations to Shannon Slaughter in the 53S, getting her first win, and also the first win for a female racer in the big cars down at Grandview. Couple race stoppages. Lap 5, yellow for Parker Goulden, coming to a stop in turn number 2. And Nate Moore coming to a stop on lap 13. And also a little tangle between turns 3 and 4 with Mark Moore and Chase Guler. The rest of the racing action was fine on the well-prepared Speedway by Kenny Rogers and Brad Missimer. So the top 10 for the sportsmen were Shannon Slaughter getting the win, Addison Meitzler getting the second spot, Colin Cox getting the hard charger and also getting third spot, your current point leader moving through the field. He advanced 13 spots, I believe it was. So Colin Cox getting third in the 59. Brett Grimm, strong showing in a 611. That's 2 in a row. They said a couple changes were made to the car and seems to be working right now for the Grimm team. 611, Brett Grimm getting 4th. TJ Mayberry looking strong in a 777, getting 5th. Gavin Krupp, the 5K, sliding in for 6th. Kenny Bach, basically a top 5 runner for pretty much of the racing action. Fell back a little bit at the end, but still a strong showing for Kenny, getting 7th in the car number 6. Alex Porterillo in the 261 came home in the 8th spot, with Decker Swinehart getting the 9th place payout in the 83. And rounding out your top 10 was one of the consolation winners, Ryan Graver, in the 101. So that's your top 10 for the sportsman racers. That's 30-lap modified feature was next. And actually, the sportsman ran first last night because after the modified consolation, there wasn't much time with the impending weather coming. So Kenny Rogers, Tina Rogers decided to put the sportsman out for the A main first at night, and things worked out pretty good. We did get a complete show in, had a couple drops on the way home, but by then we were done and had a fantastic night of racing on the high banks. Modifieds took to the Speedway then for their 30-lap modified main. Taking the drop of the green, Ryan Belts in the 221 was your race leader after lap 1, but that was a short-lived lead for Ryan. Hopping into the top spot in a turn 2 pass on lap number 2 was Ron Herring Jr. in the 85. Had a couple yellows on lap 9, but things proceeded to go quite well. Again, I guess hard luck's got to go to Doug Manmiller. They had to tow Doug off, come to a stop in turn number 4 in lap 9. Lap 9 wasn't exactly a fantastic night. And in the backstretch, we had a little accident with Mike Guler was a late involvement in the accident with Ryan Belts over in turn number 2. Jeff Strunk took the lead from Herring on lap number 10 and was not to be denied getting his second win of the season. He's the first two-time winner in the modified class down at Grandview. The Norm Hansel 357 coming under the checker first. And they did have a lap 14 tangle with John Willman and Ryan Grimm. That was sort of a little bit of a push there. Jared Umbenauer getting into the side of Willman, coming off of turn 4, getting John sideways, and Ryan Grimm had nowhere to go. So John tried to resume, but after one lap, he pulled into the infield and called it a night with the 74W. Bobby Trapper Sr. had a night that he'd like to forget. He came out for hot laps, ran the track in a little bit, had to get pushed to the pit area, and never came back out after that. The 69 was pit bound, had to get a push in, and never came out for the heats consolation, and didn't make the feature because of that. So a bad night for Bobby Trapper Sr., who had some fantastic showings the last couple weeks. So let's give a brief recap then of the top 10 at the Grandview Speedway. Taking the win again, Jeff Strunk in the Norm Hansel 357. Strong showing from Jeff. He had a little bit of a lap traffic issue late in the race, but he found the way through him and took the win in the 357. John Kellner was a strong shower in the 21, a former winner this year. John looking strong in a 21, getting the runner-up spot. Loudon Reimer coming through the field in the 16, Loudon getting third. Jared Umbenauer, who was involved a little bit in the tangle with Willman and Ryan Grimm, soldiering on for fourth. Logan Watt moving through the field, taking the high side again, going where nobody else dared to go, getting the 4M in for the 5th place payout. Brett Cressley, you're now point leader due to Mike Guler's misfortune during the modified A main. Brett Cressley, you're now point leader in the 19K, finishing 6th, with Eddie Strada in the 33 getting 7th. Dwayne Howard, another strong showing for Dwayne, another top 10 finish in the 15G. Dwayne was also inducted into the Dirt Hall of Fame in Weedsport, New York on Thursday. Congratulations to Dwayne. A valiant effort last night for Dwayne, putting the 15G into the 8th spot at the checker. Craig Von Doren, your consolation winner, moving through the field, getting 9th after the 30 laps were completed in car number 30. And rounding out the top 10 was last week's winner, Ryan Watt, in the 14W. There was bonuses given out to the winners of the Sportsman race and the modified race. It was in memory of Randy and Mike Bailey. $250 were awarded to the winners, both Shannon Slaughter and Jeff Strunk, from Donna Bailey and family, and also $181 was given out in memory of Randy and Mike Bailey from Brightenstein Motorsports. So thanks to both Bailey and Donna Bailey and family and Brightenstein Motorsports for their thoughtfulness in donating some bonus money to the winners and keeping the memory of Randy and Mike Bailey alive. Some fantastic racing again at Grandview. They did get all the races in and beat Mother Nature. So next up, regular small block modifieds and Sportsman next week, August the 2nd, down at the High Banks of Grandview. So hope everybody stays safe. Have a great week, and see you down at the High Banks on Saturday, August the 2nd. This is Mike Feltberger. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.